Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net and it's Wednesday the 9th of September. Thanks again for watching. This is your look ahead video and interesting developments today that I just wanted to point out to you. Just follow the track of the sea surface temperature anomalies over the last few months. So this is going ahead in month steps. So there we are on the 3rd of March. Notice the warm water out here west of the states. Look, warm water off to the east of the states. There's our cold pool across the eastern Atlantic. I just want you to watch what happens. Keep your eyes on, first of all, the developing El Nino and also this area of cold water out here. Okay, as I run through the sequence. So that's March. Now, that's April. Notice how much warmer it becomes west of the states. Starting to see an El Nino beginning here off the western coast of South America. Also, there's our cold pool in the Atlantic. And just monitor this warm water out here as well. There's May, June, and now heading into July. At this point, see how warm the water's become across here along the equator. That's our El Nino event. Very warm water off the western coast of the US. That's our considerably warmer than normal water that's there, or I should say warmer than average water. Watch this cold pool here as well as I move the sequence on. Okay, so that's July, that's August, and this is the latest chart from September. So, cool pool of water out here, but notice the warmer water starting to feed up from here, eroding the western side of this cold pool. Are we seeing the first signs of this cold pool getting eroded? So are we seeing some sort of change here? Long range models not particularly picked up on that just yet. I'm just wondering if we're starting to see a bit of a change. If I just go back again for you, now you know what you're looking for. Just monitor that. Look, there we are with April, May, June, July, August, and the latest, September. Be interesting to see that one. Also, just notice the Med as well. So look at the Med temperatures here. Remember I've been telling you how much warmer than normal the Mediterranean has been. Well, watch what happens over the last few months. There we are, very warm in June, hot in July. I was in there myself in July. Boy, was it hot. There's August. There's September. Okay, so cooling off a little bit, and certainly cooling off as the cooler water to the north here from that northerly that we had recently blows its way down the coast of Portugal and northern Spain, and almost looks like this warm water is trying to get back into here. Now that's going to have significant implications for the weather as we go through the autumn and into the winter period. Looking at the CFS, this looks a pretty good run of the CFS to me. It's toned down its El Nino forecasts. And remember we were saying that we thought, initially we went for plus 1.8 to plus 2. I've increased that now to a plus 2.1 to plus 2.3 as a maximum. And it's just interesting to see here what the CFS has done. It's now put the peak in as November, and the mean of all the CFS runs is coming in at around a plus 2.7. Now, considering that at one stage, in fact not so long ago, we were looking at plus 3.5, it's toned things down considerably. I'm still going to stick with my plus 2.1, probably bring it up to a plus 2.3, puts it into a strong event category, but not the very strong event that the CFS was trying to predict not that long ago. So the CFS getting a reality check there. And then if we just look at the MJO, this is from Carl McRitchie's site. Look what the MJO is doing. So the MJO has been kind of faffing around in very, very weak condition for a while, but the CFS now sees it getting it south into phase 4, into phase 5, and eventually through into phase 6. Now it's doing this, getting into phase 4 around the 29th of September. It's getting into phase 5 around the 4th of October. And then it gets into phase 6 around about the 10th of October. And notice that all runs of the ensemble are going for that idea. So we're looking at phase 4 around about the 29th of the month. This is how phase 4 looks. And phase 4 has higher than normal heights up towards the north, lower than normal heights down towards the south. So we get a ridge effect built, not a particularly strong one across the UK, but stronger across Scandinavia. So we've got kind of that effect coming through with low pressure tending to be to the south. The jets split both north and also south of the country. And we tend to hold on to higher pressure conditions. Now, this is at the very end of the month into the early part of October. And given that I've been telling you about this unsettled weather that I thought was going to come next week, which now looks on the cards, and then an improvement from around the 23rd, 24th onwards, this would back up those ideas. So what about moving on then? What about getting into phase 5? And when we get into phase 5, early part of October, big change. Lower than normal heights look across the country, higher than normal towards the north. That's where the high retreats off to. Big trough across the UK in phase 5. These are our unsettled conditions. Now, I did say I thought end of September, early part of October would be fair. This probably pulls it in a little bit quicker than I'd like. And I'm really reluctant to say to you that I think the fair weather is going to carry on until about the 9th or 10th of October, because it may not, and certainly that's what the CFS is indicating here. But we're advising clients at the moment sort of a 60-70% chance that actually that fair weather does continue up to about the 9th or 10th before it then breaks down into these sort of conditions. Phase 6 looks like this. The high building back out towards the west, the trough off towards the east, so we're getting this sort of ridge feature coming through. Maintains the unsettled conditions, but on a cooler northeasterly flow heading into the middle stages of October. So we're building the picture here. It is going along the same storyline that I've been suggesting, this idea of improving end of September, good for the early part of October, breaking down middle part of October, and then really that breakdown lasting into the rest of October. What does kind of ease it off a little bit is that, as we've just seen, those sea surface temperatures, the anomalies, starting to lose a bit of the hit across the Mediterranean. Med is perhaps releasing some of its energy and has already done so, and we saw an example of that with the cooler air that we've had recently, and also with the unsettled conditions next week. Almost, it seems to be that, and you know, you try and pin down the scientific reason for it, and there's lots of people who poo-poo it and say, what are you saying? Well, there's only so much energy available within the atmosphere, and if you're getting that energy released, and if we see severe storms next week, that energy is aiding itself being released, then it may be that there's less available in the edge to come out then through October, so it might ease off these storms that we've been talking about. But certainly I do think that risk is there of a stormy mid to end of October and into November as well. So some interesting developments taking place there. I will leave you with that for now. But once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget, you can send us an email to get these video updates emailed through to you. Just send an email to generalweather-subscribe@weatherweb.net. And don't forget to check out the fast forecast for all the details for the next couple of days. Okay, I shall leave you with that for now, but whatever you're doing, thanks again for watching. Keep the sun shining, and bye for now.